As I mentioned at the beginning of the half hour, this past year's hurricane season was unprecedented and historic. Thankfully, we in South Florida were spared any significant storms that impacted so many others elsewhere. Here's CBS4 meteorologist Dave Warren.
The forecast called for it. The first named storm was here before the official start of hurricane season, and by the end of it, it turned out to be a record one. For the second time in history, the standard 21 storm names would not be enough. We had to go into the Greek alphabet, but this time we made it to 30 storms. The storm tracks covered most of the Atlantic, the Caribbean, and a large number of storms making landfall along the Gulf Coast. The first major hurricane of the season was Laura, which became a Category 3 storm on August 26th. It would continue to strengthen before making landfall along the Louisiana coast on August 27th. It was one of 8 named storms to impact the Gulf Coast, from Tropical Storm Beta causing flooding in Texas to the Florida Panhandle, where Hurricane Sally caused this damage around Pensacola. Hurricane Delta, although not as strong, made landfall in nearly the same location as Laura, delaying the recovery or even reversing it, blowing out makeshift windows and plywood put in place after Laura. Now, this was not the only location that had to deal with multiple storms this season. Nicaragua, Major Hurricane Eta made landfall on November 3rd. It caused catastrophic damage and flooding there and in Honduras. It was less than 2 weeks later that Hurricane Iota made landfall just 15 miles south of where Eta did. Catastrophic flooding pushed inland with the storm, spreading from Nicaragua to Guatemala. One of the few places relatively spared from this record hurricane season was South Florida. Isaias was the closest hurricane, staying just off the coast. It wasn't until early November that the 2020 hurricane season would bring the biggest impacts to us here in South Florida. After curving back over the Caribbean, Eta crossed over Cuba and then turned northwest, making landfall in the Middle Keys on Sunday night, November 8th. Even though it was a tropical storm, most of South Florida woke up to this Monday morning. Areas in Broward County received over a foot of rain, leading to widespread flooding for days. Of the 30 named storms for the record-breaking 2020 season, it was just one tropical storm that had the biggest impacts here in South Florida. I'm Dave Warren, CBS4 News.